model is 300 grams lighter.
Yep, it's got a smaller
Not
cooling
even.
unit.
Yeah,
It's the biggest difference.
but exactly the same. They tested the temperature and everything, and it's exactly the same.
Yeah. I think the PS5 was rushed. I think this is the big problem. I think they knew that Microsoft was coming out with theirs, and they didn't want... Here's the problem. They always have trouble competing with staggered launches. This is why they hate it when Nintendo comes out of nowhere when they make their new console, and it's just like off year for everyone else. Right? They need to compete head-to-head, and Xboxes was coming out, so the PlayStation 5 had to be ready.
Yeah.
And pattern-wise, it makes sense, too, because I kept saying, people's like, no, it doesn't look like the PlayStation next console is going to be ready for years. I kept reading articles about it, too. It seemed like 2022 was going to be when the next PlayStation was coming out. For, like, the last decade now, it seemed like 2022. But because the Xbox was coming out in 2020, it's like, oh, well, obviously the PlayStation has to come out in 2020.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that happens a lot because,
Yeah.
you know, the PS3, I think, was rushed as well because when they came out with the PS3, I think it was the PS3 that came out with like a slim version.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the version that should have come out originally.
I preferred the original
original
version, though.
Really?
Yeah, well, because if you had, like, the actual launch model or whatever, you could play older games.
Oh.
Yeah. And mine had, like, every fucking memory slot possible in it. Like, you flipped up the side lid, and there's like an old school flash memory card slot, and there's like, who even fucking uses this shit anymore? And it had 4 USB slots. So you could actually plug in 4 controllers. Instead of, like, later slim models only had 2. So you could still use 4 controllers because they were all wireless, but you could only charge, or if you wanted to use wired controllers, 2 at a time in the later PlayStations. Fuck the slims.
Were they able to slim it down by removing some aspect that allowed it to play older games?
I think so. Because it could never play PS2 games, ever. That wasn't an option. But it could play PS1. And I believe the reason is because it literally had PS1 hardware in the PS3.
Yeah.
Which was great because you weren't emulating it then. You were literally just playing a PS1.
Yeah. Why did they do that? Why did they do that and not include a PS2?
At the time, the PS2 it still is one of the biggest selling consoles of all time because it was the cheapest DVD player, right? So they assumed everybody still had their PS2 because it was a DVD player, and a lot of people were buying the PS3 because it was a Blu-ray player. But the PS1 didn't do nearly as well, and it was older, right? Some people might have even scrapped their PS1, like they sold it to be able to buy later stuff. Because a lot of PlayStation users are the type of people that will sell older things to get newer things. So I'm assuming they figured PS1 is so old at this point, if you want to play your PS1 games, we're just going to give you one. I also think it was probably too costly, and that's the main reason why they stopped doing it shortly after launch. Especially as the whole PlayStation Network became stronger, and they're like, oh, well, we could just emulate the games by selling it to you digitally. Why do you need a physical copy?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But, like, I can understand, the PlayStation 2 is such a popular system that you would think there is no need to emulate a PlayStation 2. Most people probably still had theirs. It was a much more reliable system, too. Like, I have a PlayStation 2 that still works long past the PlayStation 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
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 Well, I never had a PlayStation 2.
Well, you're one of the few.
Which is a shame. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to finishing up the 3 PlayStation 1 Final Fantasies so I can get to Final Fantasy 10.
And then you can eventually get to Final Fantasy 12, which is much better than 10 as a game. Not as a Final Fantasy, because 10 still has like the format of Final Fantasy, but overall as a game, it's a better game.
Yeah. Well, I had already started, and I only I stopped because I knew I was going to be playing it from the beginning on stream. So, but I very much enjoyed the beginning, even though I missed a quest that I couldn't go back and do.
Yeah,
I'll have to try and remember to do that before I leave Rabanastre.
I love Rabanastre. That's like a city I wish was real to some degree, because I would love to just like walk the streets and explore it.
Yeah.
It's a fun place. But
has nice background music too.
welcome to the Vomitorium Weekday Show for the 17th of September, 2021. As always, I am your host, The Metal, and actually here today, which is why we're running the show, is Marsupial Gamer, who couldn't be with us for the last couple days. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah.
Gotta get back on a good sleep schedule. I keep falling asleep in the afternoon. It's probably because I'm old.
Any news on Zelda or Super Mario? John wants to know. I'm assuming he's talking about Dillard. No, not today. Unless you count the fact that the Nintendo Switch has filed for a new controller. I guess that's tangentially news to Mario or Zelda, but no.
Yeah.
No Zelda or Mario news today.
And unfortunately, there's no information because they're asking the FCC to like block everything. So it's like, where are my cat ears? They're down here. I ripped them off in fury. So we don't even know. Is it different in any way? Is it going to offer some sort of different kind of
blocking
gameplay?
the information because they're finally yet again trying to fix the Joy-Cons on the standard Switch controller? The freaking drift.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. What's different about it? Is it just basically the internals are better maybe, or is there something more significant?
They just put like this really tiny plate that's like a piece of stock cardboard 1 millimeter thin between the base of the
Yeah, I'm sure they need a patent for that. Hey,
Dylan.
We got a tip.
Thanks for the tip. All donations,
thank you very much,
they go towards our monthly hosting fees, so it is appreciated.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, we have no idea what it's going to be. They could be putting out the sequel to the Super Scope, which, I mean, technically they already did, sort of, with the base that you could put the Wiimote and Nunchuck into. But they could be putting out, like, the Super Duper Scope for the Switch, and I have no clue what they're doing.
They need to come out with a Power Glove 2.0. It's even badder. It's so bad.
Yeah. No, what you do is they put them on, the Power Glove, and it, like, Bluetooth syncs, and it kind of, like, knows... using the NFC, it would actually use the near field communication, right? It knows in relation to the controller where the gloves are, and that is their complicated way of fixing the Joy-Con drift, because it's actually looking at what your thumbs are doing.
Yeah.
Which is just going to lead to even more problems.
Timothy Olsen is saying that I should not be a pussy and put on my cat ears, but if I put on cat ears,
you would be a pussy.
Then I would be a pussy.
Yeah,
so
like I don't get it. Yeah, you're a little backwards there, man.
Yeah, it's confused.
Yeah.
But yeah, no new. Well, I mean, did we talk about the new Zelda glitch in Breath of the Wild?
Yes, we talked about that like a week or so.
New glitch. Yeah, where you can fly through the air
Yeah,
now.
no, we talked about it. Yeah. There's no Zelda news today.
Darn. I wish there was Zelda news.
You always wish there was Zelda news.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Zelda news as much as the next guy. I also like talking about novel things now and then. Speaking of novel things, right? Sega,
Yes.
who is no stranger to the RPG market. They've been doing things for a long time, even going way back to Rise Star, Phantasy Star, stuff like that. But also, even in the modern day, Sega is the main publisher for Atlus's SMT series, including Persona, which is super popular with everybody. It is actually going to be revealing a new RPG at the Tokyo Game Show with Atlus, of all people.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems really cool from what they're describing. They even put like a little short trailer. It's like a minute 36 seconds long. The trailer shows like a quill dropping ink down onto a canvas, and it's kind of like drawing out the story or whatever. And they said that it's going to be heavily inspired by tabletop RPGs.
Yeah.
Which older RPGs were all originally inspired by tabletop, but due to the limitations of how you could make a game back then, that's what led us to what like JRPGs are known today, right? They couldn't do any of the complex storytelling features. And this one is supposed to be a game that unfolds with the player based on player choice. And there's even a quote that says that it's not a straight road, let's make a one-time trip, which implies that every single time you play this game, you're going to have a different experience, unless somehow you perfectly make 100% of the same decisions 2 times in a row.
Yeah, and I'd show the trailer, but there's nothing to show.
No. It's just a nice video.
I was watching the video while you were talking. I'm like, okay, they're not actually showing anything.
Nope. But I like the idea of going backwards, right?
Yeah.
Like, when we were talking about 15, I had a lot of criticism of Final Fantasy 15, but the stuff that I always liked about it were the things that it pulled from tabletop RPGs. And I would like to see more RPGs in general go back to what the actual root was for these games and make them more like the tabletop experience, including if you can make the game like a GM who can sit there and change the direction of the story based on what you do. That would be really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I see it's getting a ton of backlash due to the fact that it's a mobile game.
I'm fine with that, though. I don't care.
Yeah, I just hope that they have freaking controller support. You know? And the question is it going to come out on Android? Or is it going to be an iPhone?
Here's the thing. It's Sega. Right? And
Yeah.
Sega has several Android games. I'm assuming this is probably going to be on both.
Okay.
I'm also assuming that it may actually end up on PCs as well, which has been very common for some of these companies to do, where they'll make a mobile game, it'll have controller support, whether the mobile version has that activated or not, but the whole reason they have controller support is so they can just take it as is and port it straight into like Steam or something, or stuff like that.
Yeah, I hope so. And I think, I still don't know. I haven't bothered to look into whether Apple is really going to be pushing, Apple TV as a game console.
I wish they would
going forward. Yeah, I haven't really seen anything. They didn't announce anything with Apple TV. Nope. They haven't really announced any Apple TV anything for years.
Yeah, they kind of almost abandoned it. It's like sitting there. You can get it.
Yeah.
It functions, but they're not really doing anything with it.
Yeah. I mean, they just had a whole presentation thing where they just talked about iPhone, iPad, and what else? iWatch,
yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I'd probably be a bit more hyped about this game if
You
I
have
had a
more to go
decent
off of?
iPad.
Oh, if
No, if I had a decent iPad.
well, I mean, like, even if I can only play it on my phone, if it's on Android, it's like, I have
Yeah.
no problem playing games on this phone. This phone is perfectly fine. I've played a lot of games on it.
Yeah.
It's
That's
a
bigger
pretty
than my
strong
phone.
Is it bigger than an iPhone?
It looks bigger than mine.
I think it's 6.4.
Yeah, I think it's the size of an iPhone Max or whatever they call it. Yeah.
That's like the standard size now for like the Galaxy Edge line is like 6.4. Yeah, so I have no problem playing games on that. It's great. The entirety, like I don't know if you see this, right? And I know more phones are going towards this, but like look, there is almost nothing on the edges. Almost this whole thing is phone, right? Which is fine. I kind of miss having a button or two at the bottom, but there's enough buttons on the side that it doesn't bother me. Like the whole thing's phone, the whole thing's screen. I can play games on it. Haven't had any issues.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer playing a game on my computer. I don't want to have to use my phone. But if I do have to use it, it's not a bad phone for it.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
But I don't know.
At least it's an RPG and not something like whatever. What was it Doom Eternal that was originally? No. It's some Blizzard game, right?
Diablo Immortal.
Diablo Immortal.
Yes.
Doom Eternal, Diablo Immortal. Yeah.
What? Don't you guys have phones?
Yeah, don't you? I can't imagine playing. I mean, God, Diablo.
Yeah, because it's a pretty fast-paced game, all things considered. But if this is probably going to be based off a tabletop, I'm assuming, like classic JRPGs, and this is how Sega still makes most of its RPGs outside of Phantasy Star Online. It's going to be turn-based, which is easy to do on phone. I play plenty of turn-based RPGs on my phone.
Yeah.
Gee, right now, I think we've talked about this before. I'm currently playing War of the Visions Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. Turn-based tactics game. Turn-based RPGs are great on phone. I don't think I'd ever complain about playing a turn-based RPG on a phone because, like, menu screens pop up, you hit the option, they do it. If you need to change select, you could just click on the thing directly. It's pretty intuitive. A baby could play a turn-based RPG on a phone.
Well, yeah, and I've played plenty of Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy games on the phone.
Nintendo should just take Paper Mario in the old format and put it on the phone. They don't want to support Paper Mario anyway, but a phone game would make them a lot of money. Just do that. That would be the way to do it. I don't even care if they make it a gacha game, right? Like that actually could be interesting. Now that I think about it, if you had like a very long-running like episodic Paper Mario game where you could add in things later, and everybody plays as Mario, and they give you the partners you need to get past areas, but you can get more partners to swap out that are all gacha drops, including characters from the series. It's like you get Princess Peach as a partner, but only as a drop. Nintendo, I got you. Hire me.
Yeah, they haven't been particularly creative when it comes to mobile games.
No, they haven't.
And they definitely need to call you.
I know what's up. Let's go.
Okay.
The thing is, like, because when I think of games, it's probably different than what they're thinking over at Nintendo when it's come to phone games. Which some of them have been pretty good. Like the fact that they were able to make Mario Kart into a phone game, it plays really well. Now, there's a lot of bullshit around it as a game, but it plays really well. But when I'm thinking of a game, I'm not thinking of like, what would the standard market desire? Which is good thing to think about from a marketing perspective. But I'm thinking like, what would I want to fucking play? Which will probably have a much bigger appeal than just broadly thinking of what would the market like. Because now you're getting to something tangible. It's like, this is fun. I think it's fun. Probably a lot of other fucking people would think it's fun too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how like most games used to be made in general. It's like you just got a bunch of like
Yeah.
fucking engineering nerds sitting there programming and shit, and they're like, what's actually fun to do? What would I want to play?
Yeah, that used to be a bunch of gaming nerds making the games, and that's when games were consistently good.
Yeah.
And now they're created by committee and, market analysis and all this bullshit. So, I mean, you can tell. I've watched enough Asmongold videos to know that Blizzard developers or executives, they don't play their own game.
Oh, for sure.
They don't understand how their own game works. They just build it for the highest amount of monetization possible.
I wonder how hard it would be to make a phone game that mostly functions like Paper Mario does.
Why would it be hard in any way?
No, just like not hard, but like the complexity, like how much time it would take to make more than anything.
You mean like an indie developer creating a Mario RPG
not like
game?
From Nintendo's perspective. Like say you scrap all the Mario stuff out of it, just a game that functions in that way.
Well, yeah, I recently purchased the most recent version of RPG Maker because it was on sale. It's kind of a big sale recently. I'm really curious to know how much you can really customize the battle.
Not much.
I feel like I'm going to be disappointed by that.
Probably. That's why most people use Game Maker instead, and they just do RPG stuff in it.
Yeah. Because do you want basically the interactive battle screen where you can tap at certain times?
Yes, that is specifically what I would want. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would be easy to do with phone controls. It's still a turn-based battle. Things pop on screen. Phones are pretty responsive. You just, hit it when it's time or swipe in a certain direction if the move tells you to swipe at a certain period. Like there's plenty of stuff you could do.
I don't know.
With modern screen controls, you could even have the overworld function mostly the same as well, right? Like you could easily, because it's not like there's a lot of interaction in Paper Mario. You walk around, you can jump a little bit, and you can like swing your hammer at enemies outside of the battlefield to get a preemptive strike, right? It's very bare bones of what is done in Paper Mario. I think it'd be very easy, but it's not the difficulty that when I say how hard would it be, how much time would have to go into even just making the first episode of a game like that, because that would also be the bare bones of the game. After the first episode is made, every like subsequent episode would be quicker to make because you already have the structure of the game.
Well, the hard part is developing the initial mechanics of the game.
Well, that's why the first episode would take the longest.
Yeah. Once you've done that, and I mean, you can make yourself like a map maker, and then you just have to put in the dialogue and events and things like that. Could take a bit.
Yeah.
2,000 man hours, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. I think there would be a demand for a game like that, though. Right? Because I've seen people make, like, Paper Mario-esque games. I can't remember the name of it. There's that one where you play as Bugs. That came out not too long ago. And, like, everybody loves those games. Right? And everybody always, like, every time they announce a new Paper Mario, they want it to be good, and then everybody's disappointed by it. It's like, I think that's a game that if somebody really capitalized, if somebody actually made it accessible to the phone, maybe, like, all the episodes are free because you make all your money off of, like, gotcha drops for the side stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot you could get out of it.
Yeah. I don't think you'd run into a problem with Nintendo if it had nothing to do with Mario.
Oh, of course not.
But
No.
you had the similar, like you had a hammer or something, that's very clearly inspired by Super Mario RPG.
Like I said, there was that one with the bugs that I can't remember the name, but like people have made these games and they're out and able to sell. You could buy the one I was talking about on the Switch itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nintendo doesn't have a problem with it. They don't think they own the rights to mechanics or anything like that. It's the characters and the stories and stuff like that. You're just not allowed to like rip their games apart and pull the mechanics out that way. You got to figure out how to recreate it yourself.
Yeah.
But that could be a fun thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I found it very difficult to be motivated to learn Game Maker.
Yeah.
And I know I can. I know I can learn it if I sit down and just do it. But
it's not hard.
I don't know.
I guess it's probably one of the easier ones to learn. It's just awkward.
Maybe I need to re-up my Adderall prescription so I can
maybe
concentrate on it for more than 15 minutes at a time.
Yeah. Maybe that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Yep. So, on other news, or actual news, there was an interview with the showrunner for Cobra Kai, talking about where's the end of the show, right? And we were talking about this like a couple weeks ago when we found out the release date for the next season 4 of Cobra Kai.
Mm-hmm.
And I was even saying, it's like, I want it to be at the end of this season, but I don't see it being at the end of this upcoming season. It's going to be at least 5, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was going after that. And in this interview, he was talking about the end of the show, and he's like, they're already deep into planning season 5, which at the time that 4 was dropped, they had already said they were already renewed for season 5. And that he's hoping that the end game is going to be beyond season 5. It's like, God damn it. Why? It's a good show, but how long can a show stay good? You know what I mean? Do you think Cobra Kai has 6 seasons in it?
Sure. I mean, Star Trek always seemed to go for 7 seasons.
Yeah,
Next Generation.
Most
Voyager.
of them I got fucking sick of after season 4. I'm be honest. Very, very few of them. Deep Space Nine I thought did very well, better at the end. Voyager I thought had a slump. The last season went out with a bang, but the 2 or 3 seasons before that I thought actually sucked.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they tend to jump the shark a bit in the 7th season. And I mean, DS9 is a perfect example where, unfortunately, due to another show, Jadzia Dax had to leave the show after season 6 because she was signed onto a contract with another show.
Yeah.
And yeah, season 7 ended up not being that good. And even the Next Generation, season 7 was a little silly. They kind of sort of the jump the shark moment where it's the crew is de-evolving into spiders and Cro-Magnons and stuff.
Yeah. And there's all kinds of
stuff like that,
stupid things. But how many shows in general do you think have been good after the 4th season, maybe even the 3rd season that you've seen? Just how many?
Yeah, it's weird. Some shows just hit their stride around that time. And get really good in seasons 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Some shows start out really strong and just get gradually worse and worse every season.
Now, we're also talking about a show that's not episodic either, right? There are maybe individual things that'll happen in episode, but Cobra Kai is it deals with story arcs, right? So every episode feeds into the next one. like many things that are built for binge watching, they kind of want you to watch the whole season at once if you can, or at least a few episodes at a time. It's not meant to be carried one at a time.
He's saying that there's basically going to be at least 6 seasons. Is that what it's basically saying?
Well, if he's saying that the end game is hopefully beyond season 5, it seems like they're not planning to end it in the 5th season. Hopefully that at least means that the story is coming to an end that we're dealing with right now, and that was my biggest problem.
Yeah.
I didn't want like the current story, because we kind of came to an end in the last season with an open ending for Kreese to come in, and we're going to go back to another All-Valley competition. And like I was saying, this looks like the next arc is going to be a 2-season plot, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to have a problem if this story arc feeds into season 6.
Yeah. Well, what if they have so we've had 4 seasons.
Fourth season is coming out right now. So season 1 well, not right now. It's in December. Season 1
3 seasons.
Was the first All-Valley tournament with Miguel. It was Cobra Kai coming back, right?
Yeah.
Season 2 and 3 were the same story arc that got left in the middle with Miguel falling off of the stairs and becoming crippled, right? Like there was that big cliffhanger fight in the school was the end of 2.
Yeah.
So season 2 and 3 were the same story arc. It was a 2-season arc. And 4 starts the next All-Valley arc. And it looks like it's also going to be a 2-season arc.
The 3 kind of started the next All-Valley arc.
Kind of, but also didn't.
Yeah.
Because it did kind of come to a conclusion. Like, Daniel and Johnny are now on the same side. Because they've got a mutual enemy in Kreese. And they're training together. They've got, like, respect for each other. And they're going to be training at the Miyagi dojo. Right?
Yeah.
So there is kind of like a story that came to a conclusion there, in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a story that was there as a prelude to a bigger story that's coming up next, which is why I even assumed that this was probably going to be another 2-season story arc. And I'm going to be really upset if it's a 3-season story arc.
I was thinking they would wrap up the All-Valley tournament story arc at the end of season 4.
I would hope, but I really doubt that if they've already been renewed for 5 and the way they're talking about it.
Yeah, I would have hoped that they would just do kind of, I mean, obviously they have to lead into it in some way, but like basically do a whole new story arc if they were going to do, and that would cover seasons 5 and 6 and then be done with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't get this idea of multi-season story arcs in like original properties, like things that don't have a like a source material or something, right? Because like in anime I get it, but typically like the manga has been out for a while, so there's stuff to go off of, and also more importantly the source material is popular before it even got its like budget or anything, so you know that it's gonna do well, right? It's not just gonna fucking flop out of nowhere. Cobra Kai, yeah, there was the Karate Kid and stuff, but how do you know that this show was gonna be popular, right? Nobody said they wanted a sequel until it was announced, right? So like my problem is, if you do these multi-season story arcs on an untested project, it's fine now because obviously up to season 3 they did well and they already did a multi-season story arc. But like my problem with 2 in the first place, you do this on an untested project. How do you know you're not just going to get canceled in the middle of that story arc and just leave people disappointed? Like you always get to the end of the season, but you might not make it past the season.
Yeah, they would have to get some kind of commitment.
Yeah.
To the next season.
Which was a problem, specifically with Cobra Kai, because Netflix had to pick it up. Because at the end of season 2, YouTube dropped it. Which is exactly my complaint here, too. It's like, They gave us a multi-season story arc, and then we actually almost lost it in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's
Right.
It's good good practice, but there's not a lot of good practices in the industry these days.
Yeah, and I'm not super. I mean, I liked the show and everything, and I certainly enjoyed the first couple of seasons, but I'm not super invested in it now. So it's kind of like what's it called? Stranger Things. You know.
Yeah.
I liked it at the beginning. Now I'm not super invested. So if it goes down the tubes, I won't be particularly heartbroken.
See, I left when I thought was the perfect time to left Stranger Things, like it's perfect time to leave.
Mm-hmm.
I watched the first season and nothing past that because I thought the first season had like the perfect Lovecraftian style ending of like, oh hey, the story wrapped up, but now this guy's puking out slugs into the sink. It's weird. It's absurd. I don't need to see where it goes from there. It's like, oh, that's just a crazy the end or is it type thing that like old sci-fi stuff.
Yeah, and yes, it is the end.
Yeah, like I didn't need to see.
Or is it
like what was causing those slugs or whatever he was vomiting out? Like I didn't need to see. That was fine. That was great. It was a mystery that was like perfectly acceptable to end the story with.
Metal, don't you understand?
Yeah.
There's more money to be had. They don't have all the money yet.
Yeah.
They have to have more
seasons. How many seasons are there now? Like I did not watch 2. I know there's a 3. I don't know if there's anything past 3, but
right now there's only been 3 seasons.
Okay.
But I mean, they're talking.
A third of the show.
Yeah, they're talking about a 4th. They're doing a 4th season.
Yeah.
The end of 3 had another cliffhanger, of course.
Yeah.
Where some character supposedly dies, but turns out to be alive somewhere. Possibly, maybe. We'll find out in season 4.
It's kind of like the first one where like
stay tuned.
What's her face? 11 just disappeared with the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still eating waffles out of a box.
Yeah. Who does that?
Boy.
Like why you have to cook them. You put them in the toaster.
And how is she surviving in the woods when it's snowing?
I don't fucking know. Her psychic powers are keeping her safe.
Yeah, I guess.
From the elements.
I mean, she wasn't, in season 2, she was not in the woods the whole time or anything. Basically, she gets to be.
Oh, I don't need to know.
She gets taken care of. But
like, I don't even give a shit about spoilers for the show. I just don't need to know.
Yeah. At the end of season 1, when he's giving her waffles in the woods, it didn't make any sense. So, whatever. I wonder if Ego paid for that.
Probably. You know how much like ads, like placements and stuff like that, like product placement is in shows. Like that's a lot of money to let somebody put a product placement in your show. Which is why you gotta have respect on things that don't do product placement.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Final Fantasy 15. This fucking cup of noodles placement in it.
Did they have product placement?
Yes, like everywhere. Dude, there's literally a cup of noodle shop, like a cart in 15 that you can buy cup of noodles.
I didn't know. Oh, okay, cup of noodle, is that a brand name?
Yeah.
Welcome, Eagle, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Like, I get it. You're trying to make, like, a world that feels modern and stuff, but product placement doesn't help. I'm fine with the other way around, like when they made Lightning a Louis Vuitton model. That was fine. As long as it didn't touch the game itself, I didn't care.
Yeah. Is there a car? I know there's like a car featured in Final Fantasy 15. Is it a specific brand?
It's based off of a mock car, like one that's been designed but never made.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there's no product placement there.
Yeah. No. I'm trying to remember what the regalia was designed off of. Because it was from a company, but like, yeah, it was based off of the Cadillac CL, which is a model that was never made, and also has some of the Maybach Excelero, but it's not a real car.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, real cars can't fly.
Oh, it flies? I didn't get that far yet.
No, almost nobody did, because you had to beat the game. You had to beat the final boss, and then you had to go back and do like this this bonus quest that was only unlockable if you've already upgraded the regalia fully before that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically your airship. Once it flies, you could go anywhere in the game that you couldn't previously. It's also the only way you could get to the 2 bonus end game bosses. They're level 99, and they're tough as shit because you can be higher than 99, and even at max level, it's still hard to fight these bosses. Ifrit and Bahamut. Yeah.
Well, I've been watching Baka Matai play Final Fantasy X, and she was pointing out where you could break the damage cap in that game, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yep.
But a lot of the news today is like existing games being ported to other platforms, and stuff like that's not very interesting.
That's been the news for like over a month now. It's just there's not a lot going on. It's because the Tokyo Game Show hasn't happened yet. And a lot of people are saving their reveals for the Tokyo Game Show, which arguably, for most companies outside of, say, like Microsoft, being a very American company, even for Sony, they're an American company now, but they still do this like a Japanese company. The Tokyo Game Show is a much bigger event than E3. Has been every single year. More important, sometimes when you even get like a lame year at E3, it's because they were saving the bigger reveals for the Tokyo Game Show, which would be closer to like the launch window of stuff anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting. I'm trying to remember when the next Tokyo Game Show is. It's soon.
But yeah, I'm like, okay. The Final Fantasy Game Boy Advance games might be coming to Switch.
August 8th.
Nintendo 64.
No, that's Olympic Games. August 8th is past. Not Tokyo Game. The Tokyo fucking Game Show. September 30th. They were giving me the Olympic Games for some reason when I typed in Tokyo Game Show.
Yeah.
September 30th through October 3rd is when the Tokyo Game Show happens.
Well, I do have a follow-up to another story that we did before last week, which I think is exactly what you and I both suspected would happen, is that the Pokemon Oreos with Mew on them are being sold on eBay for $1,000 each.
That's disgusting. Like, absolutely.
Who is going to buy... Yeah. Who is going to buy an Oreo on eBay?
Idiots.
I mean, it's going to be like pulverized by the time it gets to you. Right?
Listen, right? This is eBay. Let's just go over the history of eBay, right? When you're buying something directly from somebody, when they're using eBay as a marketplace, it's fine. It's reasonable, right? I've gotten some stuff off of eBay from the marketplace. When you're actually there at the auctions, the things that are valuable and to auction on, eBay's had a history for just like the dumbest idiots paying way too much money for the dumbest shit. Weird Al even made a parody of I Want It That Way called eBay that made fun of this because this is just a culturally known thing. Of course somebody was going to sell a Mew Oreo on eBay for a ridiculous price. And somebody will buy it. I guarantee you.
I gotta look and see if somebody's actually buying these.
Somebody will. One of them will get bought.
Oreo Mew.
It might be a while. Yeah. But yeah.
Somebody put it up for $25,000. Are you fucking crazy? Nobody's gonna buy that.
Not now. Not now. But
Pokemon
wait until after
Mew
the
or...
promotion is over. And you can't buy any of them.
Yeah, really.
And it's going to be this old,
they're even like
moldy
they're
ass
like rated
fucking Oreo.
Yeah, they're even like rated near mint. No, wait a minute. Is it mint flavored?
No. I was about to say, these aren't mint cookies. They're cookie and cream.
But it says... Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding. But it says near mint. Here you go. Pokemon Rare Mew Oreo, $800. $100. How is it even? I can't even. It doesn't look like. Oh, okay. I see where it says, where it looks like Mew. It's weird. It's weird because it's got Mew and then it's got like stuff behind him that makes it look weird. But I see it.
Fucking
Crazy.
eBay people.
I don't think they're selling though.
No, I don't think they'll sell now. I think the cheaper ones will definitely go first, but they'll sell after the promotion ends, and then people realize that they can't try to find it on their own anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think that $25,000 one's ever gonna sell.
Yeah, but I don't even think here's one for $150. Yeah. I don't think.
I think after the promotion ends, you'll easily see some idiot buy the $100 one.
Here's one that looks like it was like somebody ate a chunk out of it. Yeah. See, here's one for 99 cents, and it has one bid.
One bid for 99 cents, yeah. That's reasonable, though. Also not reasonable, though, because you still have to pay for shipping. I think they're hoping that the bids will get past the shipping costs.
Yeah, plus you're ordering a basically used cookie.
Yeah. Would you do vacuum seal it?
Yeah. A gently used cookie. Yeah, the 99-cent one is the only one I can find. Oh wait, no. Here's one for $5 that has 3 bids.
Yeah.
Somebody bid it up to $5. That's amazing. Here's 2. Somebody had 2.
2?
Wow.
Holy shit, what are the odds of that? Probably actually not that bad.
Yeah.
If these people actually got their asses and went to the store.
Yeah, now I might have to go down to Publix after this and see if they have any of these. Get myself a $1,000 Mew cookie.
Yeah. It's like, I paid $5 for this package. I've made it back on just this one cookie and got to eat the rest of them.
Yeah.
Score.
I'm gonna I'm gonna pull a Zoidberg, eat it and be like, I'm ruined. The cookie heavy portfolio wins again.
Yeah. Damn cookies.
Oh my god, I love that episode. The cookie heavy portfolio pays off for the hungry investor.
I mean, it was a sandwich, right? That's what he got in exchange for stocks. Yeah.
Yeah, the moldy sandwich. And then he eats it and he goes, I'm ruined. Oh god. I think that was the Go-Go 80s guy episode, I think. Right? Where they're bidding up the price of
yeah. And he had that
Express.
very rare bone disease that ended up turning him into like a cube.
My only regret is that I have bonitis.
Yeah.
Oh god, stupid cookies.
Yeah. So what do you think about the fact that Nick Cage says he will never retire?
Great.
Yeah.
Man, did you see Color Out of Space?
Nope. I
Oh
need
my
to.
God. It is so Nick Cage.
I have a list of Nick Cage movies I need to see. The problem is there's so many. even in this, right? So they asked him about retiring. He's like, no, that can't happen. It literally says that can't happen. What he does in cinema, he says like a guardian angel to him. He needs it. He's healthier when he's working. It's like a positive thing for his life. So he was like, where are we now? 117 movies, and they laughs it off. 117 movies. That's too many Nick Cage movies to be caught up on.
No, you can never have too many Nick Cage movies.
Yeah. Well, no, let's say you can never have too many. I'm just saying that's too many to be caught up on. Like 117 movies?
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking movies, especially with the average runtime of a movie being 88 minutes, right? Like almost an hour and a half. Like, some of them are longer than that. How long it would take you? You're caught up on all of them, Verbank. You know what?
You don't have to watch all of them.
I believe that Verbank is caught up on all 117 Nick Cage movies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, are they all starring him, or do they just,
These are all movies he's in.
Yeah. So, I mean, a movie that he's in for 5 minutes or something, it's like you don't need to... Do you
even know a movie that Nick Cage is only in for 5 minutes?
I don't know.
Because I don't think he's ever played less than like a lead supporting character. Right? Like he may not be may not be the protag, but like he's usually like a heavily supporting character. Verbank says he actually does. One movie was he in for only 5 minutes? I want to know.
Was he in this? Oh yeah. He was a main character. Was he in Into the Spider-Verse?
I don't know.
What way was he in?
I don't plan on watching Into the Spider-Verse.
What? Wait a minute. He played... Who did he play?
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He was only in that for 5 minutes? I'm trying to remember. That's been a long time since I've seen that movie. That's an old-ass movie. Yeah, that's right, because he was just Brad's fucking bud. Yeah. He wasn't even an important character. He was just like the buddy of freaking Judge Reinhold's character.
Oh, really? Yeah, but that would have been very early in his career, I guess.
It was literally just 2 minutes.
Did you know that Nick Cage played the Spider-Man Noir?
Well, yeah, before you said it, because Joshua Hughes had already said it in the chat.
Oh. I wasn't watching.
Yeah. No, I did not watch Into the Spider-Verse. I don't plan on it. A lot of people say good things about it. I've seen a couple scenes. I didn't like the scenes I saw. The bigger problem is I don't like the animation. It looks bad to me.
Oh.
Like, I couldn't sit there and watch that whole movie.
Yeah.
Even just watching, like, I saw, like, 2 scenes from the movie, and I couldn't stand watching the animation the entire time I was watching those 2 scenes.
Was Nick Cage in The Outsiders?
Was he?
I mean, Google
if he was, it actually would have had to have been a short role, because he's definitely not a main character in The Outsiders.
It says he's in it, but he didn't even have a name.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he had a speaking part.
No, the animation's not good, Joshua. I'm not going to let you tell me this. The animation was horrible.
Yeah, this is a lot of freaking movies.
Yeah.
Jeez. He was in Kick-Ass?
Yes, yeah, but he was a main character in that. He died.
Okay. He was not a main character?
No, he was. He was a main character. He was in for like a little over half the film. He was, well, not half screen time, but like half of the runtime of the film. He was the father of Hit Girl.
I see.
He was like a big motivation for them, the actual like final scene of the movie.
Well, Google does not list 117 movies.
He says it's been 117
3, 4,
movies.
5, 6, 7. What's 8 times 6 is 48, 49, 50, 51. Yeah, Google lists 51 movies, which is amazing to me. But yeah, how's... Well, maybe he'll be in another 117 movies.
Maybe. IMDb has him at 108 actor credits.
Oh.
I'm assuming, like, was he ever in a TV show? Because, nope, all movies. He's never in a TV show. 108. They might be missing a couple that he was uncredited in. But.
Crazy.
Yeah. Just random ass 80 movie facts floating around in your head. Well, I thank you for that, Verb.
Well, cool. So that we have a lot more Nicolas Cage to look forward to.
Yeah. He's probably gonna die making a movie one day, but that's probably what he wants. Right?
Yeah.
And he probably, I know some people are like this too. Right? Like, oh man, I know it was his estate, like his wife specifically told not to, but I remember Steve Irwin wanted the last thing he shot to go out, when the one that he died, because he even had written it in his will that if he ever dies making a documentary, he still wants that to be put out there. Obviously not the scene of him dying, right? But like whatever's finished of it, he wanted it produced, and it was his wife that decided not to.
I think there was a Norm Macdonald bit about the fact that he died, that he was killed by a stingray when he was the crocodile hunter. Yeah. He did a bit how there's like crocodiles going like, oh man, we could have had him.
But like Nick is probably the type of guy that if he dies in a film, he wants you to use whatever was finished in that film and then finish it and still release it. Like he strikes me as that type of person.
Yeah. I was gonna say you don't have to watch Ghost Rider, but you know, if you want to see,
Rider. I liked both of them.
You know, classic Nick Cage. Yeah. I changed my mind before I said it.
Yeah. My favorite movie is the Family Man. I watch that like every holiday season. I love Family Man.
Have I seen that? What is that about?
That's the one where he's like this rich business mogul or whatever, and he like rescues a guy, or like not really rescue, but he stops a burglar. He helps this dude out at a gas station, and the dude turns out to be like an angel. So it gives him a glimpse of a life he could have had. So he wakes up the next day in this like Jersey suburb with his family and everything. Like the woman that left him that he could have married back at the beginning of college or whatever. And they've got kids and everything, and he's stuck in this other life. He's getting a glimpse. But then it turns out to be the life he wanted all along. And he has to like rush at the end of the movie to try to catch the girl before she goes off to Paris and like start the life that they could have had later. Then you know, like have a late start to the life they're supposed to have.
So it's kind of like a reverse. It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes, kind of.
So he missed out on it. And... Interesting.
It's a very good movie. Because it's a fish out of water, right? Because like the little girl's like, "You're not my daddy, are you?" Because he's not acting like the person that she would have known from that like little timeline or anything like that. So he's just like, he's trying to figure out this whole life. He's changing diapers, family stuff. He's a businessman.
Yeah. See, Joshua, that's why I changed my mind. I was going to say don't see Ghost Rider, but then I thought, well, actually, no, this is pretty good. They're pretty good because because of Nicolas Cage. Yeah. But that's interesting. Family Man. It's available on Amazon Prime.
I don't know if that's my favorite though. That's a toss-up. Either Family Man or The Rock. with him and Sean Connery.
Oh, I love
It's
The
one
Rock.
of those two is my favorite Nick Cage movie. It might be The Rock just because I'm also just a really big fan of Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Who was somebody that retired.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
But
He stole the show on that.
But he didn't like really retired. He just kind of like fell back to Scotland, right? And he's done some stuff with like his local theater, so it's like he's still kind of involved in acting. He's just not doing movies. And then he did a voiceover role not too long ago too. So he's like tepid in and out.
Yeah, do actors ever really retire? I mean, unless they get dementia or something like that. Yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously some do, but like most big name actors at least continue to do something just to, like voiceover or, voice acting.
Directed
that sort
the
of
theater.
thing.
Is it? Did Sean Connery die recently? Yeah, I think he died recently. If he did.
Me?
Because there's a lot of people that died within the last couple of years or so.
Oh, yeah. He did.
Yeah, he died last year, around this time.
Okay. I forgot.
But he did a voice role within the last couple of years, and then he was involved in the Scottish theater. So, like, it was one of those things of somebody who retired, but they didn't really retire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think most big name actors kind of do that. Like, they may not be in any more movies, but they might do little, because why not?
Yeah.
It's what they love doing, and they can do little things.
I just like
Why
that Nick
not?
Cage isn't even gonna like. He's not trying to spin it or anything like that. He's like, no, I'm not retiring.
Yeah, we'll see how he feels when he hits 90. When he hits.
Oh, dude, the perfect. There's a whole type of roles that he could be playing at 90, as like the freaking crazy old man that's stuck in his chair. Like you think that's gonna stop him? He's like, no, dude, I've got a new typecast. Fuck you.
Yeah, he could do what's that movie Rearview Window?
Yeah.
Where he's stuck in a wheelchair. He's only 57.
Yeah.
Wow, he's younger than I thought.
Yeah, but 57 means he's coming up onto his 60s, right? And 65, 67, that's about the year for retirement. So it's something that if you were going to do it, you'd start thinking about that time. You'd be planning towards it.
Yeah. But again, actors don't tend to retire when they hit 65. I don't think. Doesn't seem like it.
I think more female actors do than male. And part of that is,
Maybe.
too, with awards and stuff. Like, if you look at the awards committee and the people who vote on things, male actors don't really start getting their awards until they're about in their 40s or later. Because you're starting to see old, and the people who vote on these awards are old men. So when it comes to men, they tend to vote on people that are more like themselves. But when it comes to women, it tends to be the opposite. They vote on young, attractive women, and they, with very few exceptions, like Meryl Streep and stuff, you tend to only get awards when you're young as women. So more female actors tend to age out of the business.
Yeah. Unless they're Dame Judi Dench.
Yeah.
She'll never go away.
But that's an exception to the rule, not the that's not the
Yeah.
average, right? While men, on the other hand,
Yeah.
some men's careers don't even start until they're old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of actors that seem to start at least in their 30s,
Yep.
or get big in their 30s and 40s.
So it's a lot less likely to see male actors
Like
retire,
Harrison Ford.
but It's very likely to see female actors retire, especially if they got a lot of money in their earlier years. It's like, why do I need to keep working to not be appreciated, right? Like, I've got the money. And a lot of them get families anyway. Like, some of them retire de facto just because they have a family, and they're like, that's what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Is Harrison
we're over.
Ford still doing movies?
Yeah, he's going to be doing... Oh, that was something... We could talk about this tomorrow. Because the
he's
next
79.
Indiana Jones is on the docket, and I forgot that was a topic we were going to talk about.
Yeah, and he's 79 years old.
Because there's some controversy about the next Indiana Jones movie. So try to remember
right,
this.
well-
I'm going to write it down. We're already over our time. We have a
we'll
little
talk about it
bonus time tomorrow. But thank you for watching the Vomitorium. If you enjoy the show, please share it with somebody else who might enjoy it. And if you really enjoy the show, consider giving a donation to streamlabs.com/vomitorium live so that I don't have to pay for the hosting fees as much out of like my other venues and ventures. And in the meantime, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Bye. Have a great weekend.